tonight it's time for Grandma Reads a Story, and this is a joint partnership program between the Pontiac Public Library and the Foster Grandparents Program of Oakland County, sponsored by Catholic Charities, the Southeastern Michigan. And I'm so delighted today. I have Grandma Janet, and we have some great stories. So take it away, Grandma Janet.
Okay, well, this book is about Deborah Allen, and she was a real honest to goodness ballerina, famous ballerina. And she has written this story, and for my daughter, Vivian and Philia Burley, Judith Jameson, Cynthia Gregory, and all long-legged divas who are destined to dance. So the story starts out, ever since I was born and could see, everywhere I looked, I saw dance. In the clouds as the wind blew them across the sky, in the ripples on a pond, even in the sea of ants marching up and down their hills. Dance was all around me. Dance was me. My mom calls me sassy because I like to put my hands on my hips and because I always have something to say. Well, if you had feet as big as mine, you'd understand why. So she's a very spunky person. And she stands up for, she doesn't put up with anything. You should join the swimming team since you've got those long toes and don't need any fins, my older brother Huey teased. I shot right back. At least I don't have that big forehead looking like a street lamp. Mama said, stop all that bad talk. You act so ugly sometimes, Huey. Your big head is a sign of intelligence. And Sassy, your big feet will make your legs look longer and prettier in your ballet shoes. My legs were longer, all right, so long that when I went to Tendu, point my toe at the bar, I tripped Miss Catherine, our teacher, who was coming down the line, looking the other way. Splat. She landed under the piano, her legs up in the air. Ooh, it was so funny. Even she had to laugh. Sassy, she called out, I'm going to tie orange bows on those big feet. Sorry, Miss Catherine, I answered, but if you don't wear your glasses, you still won't see them. One thing for sure, because of my long legs and big feet, I could jump higher and spin faster than everyone else. I was taller than the rest of the kids at school, even the boys. At our recitals, all the other girls got to dance solos and duets and wear pretty tutus. I was too big for the boys to pick up and too tall to be in line with the other girls. So I watched from backstage, dancing in the wings, hoping that if I just kept dancing and trying, it would be my turn to dance in the spotlight.
Didn't give up.
One day at the end of ballet class, Miss Catherine announced, Mr. Debato from the Russian school is coming next week to look for talented young people for the Summer Dance Festival in Washington, D.C. The whole room turned into a whirlpool of excitement as the sign-up sheet was posted. Everyone wanted to try, especially me. But as I wrote my name down, I heard two girls, Molly and Mona, giggle. Mona said, oh, please, she'll never make it. They said talent, not a Tyrannosaurus. My heart seemed to stand still. For once I had nothing to say. I couldn't hide the tears I felt welling up in my eyes, so I just grabbed my dance bag and ran to the parking lot. I heard a familiar horn honk and turned to see my Uncle Red in his bright green pickup truck. Uncle Red had the whitest, tight, curly hair, smelled of cigars, and every day wore something red. A tie, a hat, a shirt, socks, maybe even the shoestrings, just something red. Why of all days did Mama have to send him to pick me up? Why today? I was not in the mood for his jokes or stories, but I quickly tried to dry my eyes and smile. I got a good one for you today, Sassy. What did the banana say to the monkey? Split. Ha ha, get it? Split, banana split. I started to cry. Sassy, what's wrong? He asked. I told him what had happened. I'm just so much taller than the other dancers, Uncle Red. Sassy, he said, you got to look at that as a gift. Being tall means you can see all around, so you can always find the right path to take. No, I said, it means I stick out like a big acne bump on someone's nose. I'll never get to dance. It's a waste of time to go to that audition. Listen, gal, said Uncle Red, if I was as tall and pretty as you, I wouldn't need to wear red so people know it's me coming and going. All you got to do is make your mark on the world. To make your mark on the world is walk into a room.
Wow, very encouraging.
By the time I got home, I'm trying to make the book so it's easy to read here. And by the time I got home, Uncle Red had cheered me up, had me laughing and feeling better. As I got out of his truck, he waved goodbye, calling out, make your mark, gal. Huey and his football friends stopped playing. Huey yelled out, hey, Sassy, why don't you come and play with us? We need a goal post. His little mean, ugly friends laughed. Boy, did that make me mad. Sure, if we can use your big head for the ball, I shouted back. His friends screamed with laughter. Huey got so mad he turned red, looking like a tomato with that big head. Ha, we were just about to go at each other when Mama called us inside.
Smart mom.
Okay, late that night, I lay awake, staring out my window and thinking about Uncle Red's words. I could see myself dancing on the Milky Way. That's kind of a pretty picture.
Yeah.
Swirling like a twinkling shooting star. Next time I knew I was talking to myself out. Next thing I knew, I was talking to myself out loud. I'm going to that audition, big feet and all.
Yay.
On the day of the tryout, kids came from all over the city. It was so crowded. Everyone was expected to wear black. But like Uncle Red, I picked my own color, bright yellow. And instead of standing in the back, I squeezed between Molly and Mona right in the front row. I ignored their snickering. Miss Catherine came in and introduced Mr. DeBotto. Everyone applauded. Boy, was he short. Couldn't have been more than 4 feet 9 inches tall. He started walking down the rows, pacing back and forth, just looking at us. Then he stopped right in front of me and said, young lady, why are you wearing that loud yellow leotard? I'll need to put on sunglasses to see anybody else. Please go to the back row. I'm sure you. Molly whispered, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. At least he noticed me, I snapped. I put my hands on my hips and walked to the back. At least he noticed me. So that was a good thought to add to that. You know, instead of dwelling on the fact that she thought he was insulting her, she just said, at least he noticed me.
Yeah.
The first round of the audition was center floor exercises. Mr. DeBotto walked around prodding and poking, making corrections. He stopped once and looked right at me, but didn't say a thing. I held my breath as he dismissed almost half the kids after the first round, but not me. So standing up for herself actually helped her.
Mhm. Yep, she had
She
a
was-
voice.
Next was the adagio, the slow section. I stood as close to Mona as I could get and whispered, "Your little skinny short legs are gonna look like chicken wings next to mine." "I'd rather look like a chicken than a turkey like you with that long neck," she answered. "Talk to the hand," I told her. I took my leg up so high it got stuck. Luckily, I could balance on my other foot, so I just held it until Mr. Devato remarked, "Young lady, the exercise is finished." "Oh," I jumped out of position. "Show off," Molly grinned. Gobble, gobble, Mona imitated a turkey.
Whoa.
Then came the leaps across the floor. I took off like Jackie joining Kersey in the long jump at the Olympics. With one leap, I sailed in the air past all the other girls, and Molly and Mona watched, looking pea green with envy. When I finished, Mr. Devato yelled, "Young lady, you must learn to dance to the music. Up on the count of 1, down on the count of 3. 3, not 5. You have the rhythm of a troglodyte." Again, I was crushed. As I passed Mona to get back in line, she said, "Next time, bring your big butt down by 3. "Your mama," I said. "Ooh, did I wish I was a wizard. I'd turn them into 2 big fat frogs and tutus trying to hip hop." By the end of the day, there were only 7 of us left. Mr. Devato called out everyone's name except mine and asked them to step forward. Standing alone, I really had to fight to hold back my tears. Then I heard him say, "Thank you all for coming. Keep working, keep trying. You're dismissed." Mr. Devato said to me, "Sassy, you have a great deal of potential. You have beautiful long arms and legs, but you flail about with no control. You must learn to use your feet better. And timing, timing. We have a lot of work to do when you come to Washington this summer. But please, please leave that loud yellow leotard at home. All you need to do to be noticed is walk into a room." We walked out. So that was a pretty good compliment that he gave her. She thought he didn't like her and that she was rejected, but he just wasn't going to praise her in front of everyone else.
Mhm.
Jumping and shouting, I ran to the parking lot. "I made it, I made it. Mama, I made it." "Guess who was there to pick me up, Mama?" Uncle Red, Huey, and half his football team piled in the back of the green truck on their way to a game. Everybody was so proud of me, even Huey. "You go, Miss Bigfoot." "Thank you, Mr. Bighead," I said. We all laughed. One month later, Mama and I boarded the plane for Washington, D.C. She held my hands as my heart pounded when we landed. At the school, there were young dancers from Russia, Mexico, France, China, Cuba, Brazil, New York, Texas, and long-legged me from Inglewood, California. In class, the first day, Mr. Devato introduced me to his 12-year-old protege, a boy named Dwight, who was 5 feet 10 inches tall. "Dwight, I think I have found you a partner. Meet Sassy." So she's met a handsome partner there.
Yeah. Yep.
Mama was right. Being tall wasn't so bad after all, and neither was having a big head. By the end of the summer, Huey had won the grand prize at Space Camp in Alabama, and I got to dance a duet with Dwight in the summer concert. When Dwight lifted me high in the air, I felt like I was dancing on the Milky Way, me and my big feet making my mark on the world.
Wow.
And then that's the end of the story here.
Oh, wow. So she made it.
Uh-huh.
What a story. What did you like best about it, Grandma Janet?
Well, I like the way that she didn't let anything destroy her, you know, even though other people, maybe out of jealousy and envy, because they wanted to be first as far as the ballerinas were concerned. So she didn't let it bother her for long, and she just persisted, and she talked back. She just didn't take rejection and become depressed and withdrawn. She just fought on. So she was an admirable person.
She didn't do it alone. She had her mom that kept, encouraging her to be nice and, talk nice. And she had her uncle that said, that you should take that as a good thing that you're tall, that you have big feet. All you have to do is walk. So she didn't do it alone, but she did do it herself. So thank you for this story. That's wonderful. And the second story is Milo, and what is the rest of it? Name of the title? Milo what?
Okay, it's Milo Imagines the World.
And who wrote it?
And it's by words by Matt De La Pena, and pictures by Christian Robinson.
Great. Okay.
And these are all drawings by children, by young children.
Okay.
And what it's about is a boy that's they're doing different trips downtown, and he's having new experiences on subways, and he just wants to know what all is going on. He wants to understand everything that he doesn't understand right now. And so it's Milo Imagines the World. And so he's interested in everything that's around him.
So what does the first page say? You start.
Okay, so what begins as a slow, distant glow grows and grows into a tired train that clatters down the tracks. A cool rush of wind quiets into a screech of steel. And when the doors slide open, Milo slips aboard.
Okay.
The train bucks back into motion as he and his sister squeeze onto bench seats. The whiskered man beside Milo has a face of concentration. A businessman has a blank, lonely face. Okay, here's the whiskered man. This is his sister.
Mm-hmm.
This is the businessman who you can tell that he's lonely. Milo's noticing that. The wedding dressed woman near the far door has a face made out of light, while the dog peeking out of her handbag has no face at all, just a long golden tongue. These monthly Sunday subway rides are never ending, and as usual, Milo is a shook up soda. Excitement stacked on top of worry, on top of confusion, on top of love. To keep himself from bursting, he studies the faces around him and makes pictures of their lives. At a downtown local stop, the whiskered man folds up his crossword and hurries off the train. Right here. Milo imagines him trudging through brown mounds of slush. It's a 5-flight climb to his cluttered apartment where he's greeted by mewling cats and burrowing rats. Late that night, the door to the parakeet cage mysteriously falls open and the cats gather on the cold sill to watch the birds fly free above the city. Parakeets tweet songs of longing as the man sips tepid soup, hunched over a game of solitaire. Milo tugs his sister's sleeve and holds up his picture. But even when she turns to look, he can tell she doesn't see. She's a shook up soda too. A boy in a suit boards the train with his dad. His hair is a perfect part and there's not a single scuff on his bright white Nikes. Milo imagines the clop, clop, clop of a horse-drawn carriage that will carry him to his castle. Imagines the clink, clink, clink of the guards slowly lowering the drawbridge. Across the human-made moat, the boy is met by a butler, 2 maids, and a gourmet chef offering crust-free sandwich squares. Milo flips to a fresh page at a bustling Midtown stop when the wedding-dressed woman strides off the train. A band of street performers launches into Here Comes the Bride, and everyone on the platform stops and cheers. Milo imagines the grand cathedral at a ceremony where the couple will be pronounced husband and wife. Imagines the groom whisking his new bride to an awaiting hot air balloon where the pilot loads them in with blankets and blasts the heat. And up they go, hand in hand, beyond the concrete walls of the city into the infinite blue. Milo holds up this picture too, but his sister shoos him away. Can't you see I'm playing my game? He watches her thumbs bang around her smudged screen, then turns back to the boy in the suit. They lock eyes for a few long seconds, and suddenly it feels like the walls are closing in around Milo. The spell is broken when a crew of breakers bounds onto the train announcing, "You all ready for a show?" Several curious faces look up as the beat drops, and now the girls are walking up walls. They're twirling around poles or backflipping over shopping bags. When the train pulls into the next stop, they collect a few dollars and scramble for another car. Milo imagines them going from train to train, doing their act as everyone watches. But even after the performances are over, faces still follow their remove when they walk down the electronics aisle at the department store. Milo doesn't really like this picture, so he puts away his pad and turns to his reflection in the window. What do people imagine about his face? He's wondering. Can they hear his mom's soothing voice reading him a bedtime book over the phone? Can they see him reciting his volcano poem to the class? Can they smell the chilly Colorado bubbling in a pot in his Annie's apartment near the cemetery? Butterflies flood Milo's stomach when it's finally their stop. He follows his sister onto the cold station platform and up the stairs. Above ground, he's surprised to see the boy in the suit a few paces ahead. He's even more surprised when the boy joins the long line to pass through the metal detector. Milo's sister suddenly bends to give him a hug. I didn't mean to snap at you, she says. She takes his hand, adding, you have your picture ready? He nods, feeling the warmth of her fingers. As they slowly shuffle forward, Milo studies the boy in the suit, his dad rubbing his thin shoulders, and a thought occurs to him. Maybe you can't really know anyone just by looking at their face. Milo tries to reimagine all the pictures he made on the train. Maybe he could have done it like this instead. Milo's chest fills with excitement when he spots his mom through the crowd. His sister rushes to give her a hug before putting Milo in too. And it's in this tight tangle of familiar arms that he feels most alive. When they separate, Milo flips through his pad until he finds the right picture. I made this for you, he says, holding it up, and he watches for the smile he hopes will spread across his mom's face. So she did smile. So these are the rest of Milo's drawings. All that he's written, he's drawn all of the things that he saw on the subway, and he studied all the people. And so anyway, this is his final picture, and he's much happier with it than he was before, as he realizes how much he loves his family. So anyway, that's that.
Okay. So what did you like about that story?
Well, it was just, it was interesting and to know that often people do go on a trip or even anywhere they go, and you can study other people and make all sorts of fantasies about where they might live, or who they are, who their friends are, how old are they, what do they like to do. And so you're just curious about all these people. And so he was writing all this down and drawing the pictures. So other than that, I can't think of anything else.
What I liked was that he thought that this boy his hair was perfect, not a scuff on his shoe, and he was expecting him to be in some highfalutin, surroundings and hustle and all this people waiting on him, and he was going through the detectors too. So he said, well, maybe you can't judge somebody just by the way they look.
Or thinking that they're better off or that they're happier.
Yeah.
So at the end of the story, he's with his family, and he just thinks how happy he is to be with his mother and his sister, and they're admiring his drawings and just to be happy.
Yeah.
With his family.
Yeah, you don't have to be dressed up perfect. You don't have to have all these people waiting on you. You don't have this magic carriage ride or anything. You just need the people that love you and they care about you. That's bottom line, is people that love you and care for you.
And the young boy, he imagined that he probably, he imagined him living in a castle and being a prince and all this and that. And come to think, it was just like everyone else. And maybe that boy wasn't as happy as Milo was.
Maybe not.
And so
Maybe it
Milo
was,
came to appreciate his own life.
yeah. To me, that's, and sometimes what we imagine, it's neat to imagine things. It's neat. I like that he was in his mind and making stories and all that stuff. That was kind of cool that he went somewhere in his mind. But in the end, it's just having those hugs. Those three of them holding each other, where he felt the most alive. Didn't even matter the rest of that. Well, thank you for reading those two stories to me, Grandma Janet.
Okay, well, you're welcome.
And it was wonderful. Both of them were wonderful. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
All right, you too.
And people would love to have it, and Grandma Janet and I would love if you would make some comments, put in some comments on Facebook, and we could share the comments, what you think of the story, or what you liked or didn't like. And so let us know. You see it, you hear it, you know what you liked. So thanks a lot, and goodbye.
Bye.